It's awesome that when I start recording, they start the machines outside or whatever. Okay, here's the deal. I am a computer science undergraduate and I am on vacation. I am also bored to shit. However, I thought it would be fun to tackle on a simple project in programming that, I don't know, I guess I just want to log. I don't know why, just for some reason. And so I thought it'd be fun to do like a Minesweeper game. And since I'm very original, I'm going to call it MineCweeper because I'm going to make it in C. Yeah? I completely forgot my keybinds. Okay, I haven't used Vim in a while. Give me a second here. Minesweeper, get ignore. I suppose we can start with the main. So we're going to do our classic standard IO stuff. In other words, we're just going to print. I am completely off today. We're just going to print the classic hello world. What am I doing? Return 0. Right, make file. Alright. I'm also going to get something that I like to call Moon, which is a script which all it does is it makes the file, it echoes nothing, and it runs the file. Just makes everything at once. Yeah, Moon is not executable, so let me just... Okay, here we are. So, Minesweeper, what do we do in there? We start with, well, the most basic thing of it all, I guess, and it's the board. Now, the board is something like, if you look at the standard sizes for Minesweeper, at least according to Wikipedia, I can actually pull that up. I've already looked into it. If you look at the Minesweeper Wikipedia, you can see that the size of the board, beginners usually on an 8x8 or 9x9 board containing 10 mines. First things first, I'm going to just code like the beginner board, and then I'll try to expand into the intermediate and expert, having the player like choose it. So we are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So more. Probably that's a lot of stuff. 1, 2, 3. How many? We have 10, so one extra. Anyway, that's our board. Is that correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have way too many. Yeah, yeah, that looks square. So our board, and I filled it in with zeros because at the end of the day, what we are going to be presenting on the board are either numbers or mines. We'll get to that in a second. So this is roughly, this is what the board has to be, right? It's going to be on the terminal, so this is what I'm planning on printing on the terminal. Now, this is a grid, but if we think about it, this is not enough info to represent what I want. Because what we have in Minesweeper is you either have like a blank cell, which I'm going to represent it as a dot. You have like an exposed cell, which is not a bomb and it's like a number from 1 to 8, right? So it's literally going to be the number. In this case, it's like, yeah, it's not 1, it's 0 to 8. So we either have an empty cell or an empty. Okay, so the empty cell is going to be just a blank space. A non-revealed cell would be a dot. A revealed cell that is not a bomb would be a number from 0 to 8, and we also have like flagged cells, which I think an exclamation mark is good for, and the bomb could be like this, right? So these are going to be our symbols. Numbers are, well, numbers, so I can just come here and increment like stuff, and that's that. But I also want to be able to show the rest of this information, and I think that having a simple array of ints, although it could work, I could have like magic numbers. I can say that this is like -1 equals this. You know, I can have this just be straight up what it is. Sorry, the numbers be straight up what they are. Nothing wrong with that. I could have like -2 equals flag, and I could have -3 equals this. But I feel like that will get mildly confusing. So what I'm thinking is, instead of just having like an integer array, or matrix technically, I've been calling this an array, but it's a matrix. Instead of having like an integer matrix, I think we can just make a type. Also, there's the blank space that I forgot about. So 4 is just a blank space. I guess I can, like, whatever. Instead of just making it an integer array, which, you know, it could work, it's not wrong. I was thinking maybe I just define a type, if I could spell, a type struct, which is going to be like a cell, and this cell is going to contain info, and then our board is going to be a cell matrix, right? And how are the sizes? 9 by 9, right? So I'm just going, again, I'm just hard coding this stuff. I'm going to define board width to be 9 and board height I can't, hello, I can't spell apparently, and word, I'm going to hard code this at first. We also have the number of bombs, which is 10 mines, sorry, mine number of mines, whatever, it's going to be 10. Right, first this. How am I thinking about this? I am going to declare it because this is just easier for me, that this way is the x and this way is the y. How do I represent this? Can I, like, yeah, that works, right? It's just easier for me. So x moves along this position, along the row, y moves along the columns. It's just easier to wrap my head around. Anyway, this is because what I'm saying here is going to be a bit confusing, because here's going to be the x and here's going to be the y. Right? No, it's the other way around. That's why it's confusing. Here's going to be the y, and here's going to be the x. This is the row, this is the column. Yep, yeah. As for the structure itself, so this was just to represent, I'm going to get rid of this. For the struct of a cell, basically want, so we can have like a size t, and I'm going to already include a few headers. Standard library, I think I'm going to need this, and I want, what else? I want assert, and standard bool would be nice. Standard makes things a little nicer. So size t, which is okay, nice, but I wanted to, whatever, trust me. Size t is good for representing these things, and it's going to be the number of bombs. So bomb, it's not bomb, it's mine. Mine number of mines. Right, so at this moment, this is basically just, you know, saying size t board here. It's pretty much the same, since we have no extra info. However, because of all of the flagging and the marked and bomb stuff, we can have a few booleans in here. So I can have a boolean like is revealed, it's nice to know this, is flagged, and is bomb. Right? I think that should be a good amount of stuff. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. So, whether it's revealed, whether it's a flagged, and whether it's a bomb. I suppose I could have, like, again, I could have magic numbers and just reduce the size of the structure, but I think this way it's more explicit and I don't have to do bit masking. which is a bit of a pain in the ass, especially if you're just starting off the project. I think it's better to refactor it later, if at all. So this is what I'm thinking of for our board. We have our board X and Y. This is not X and Y. This is board height, I believe, and board width. I hope I am not getting these switched around. I think I'm getting them switched around. Okay, nothing like testing. Anyway, I want to be able to print a board, so I'm going to quickly make like a print board function. And since the board is global, there's no, at this moment the board is global and it probably stay that way, I don't know. I'm just going to board width. Right, so I want a nicer name for this. So this is the Y, if I'm getting this correctly. And Y plus, right? And this is now going to be the X. You're not going to be width, you're going to be height. I'm definitely getting this wrong. Give me a second here. And I'm going to printf %t. I'm going to give it some space, and we're printing board on the index yx. And here we're going to printf a new line. Are we making? We are making. Now, yeah, right. I am printing. At first, I'm just going to print like the mine number, which I'm not really initializing, so it may just be trash. I don't know if you can like zero initialize it like that. Let's try it. It's not a pointer because I'm not taking a reference. So yeah, I'm still. Isn't this a size t is ZU? For all intents and purposes, it's the same thing. So Minesweeper. Right, I made the function, but I never really called it, now did I? So I'm going to just print board. Make Minesweeper. We have a board. Okay. How do I check this is correct? Because I'm pretty sure I'm getting this the wrong way around. I never remember this stuff. I'm probably going to get a function that randomizes the board, since we're going to basically need that regardless. What that means is we're needing time stuff. So sys time, and I don't remember the rest. So it's rand, seed rand, and it's going to be time of null. Yeah, and I'm going to have a function, it's not print, it's rand board. And it's going to, again, iterate through this, except instead of printing it, we are going to set each cell to be a random number between 0 and 8. How do you do that? Board, so board of index yx equals, so rand, how do you work? So rand, you return an integer, take in void, returns a pseudorandom integer in the range of this, 0 to that, which means I can just mod 8, which is the max amount of bombs, such that it goes from 0 to 8 inclusive. So now I can come here and randomize the board. Errors. I forgot to select the mine number. Implicit declaration of time. Where is that from? Unistandard? Time.h. So it's not sys time, it's just time. Okay. We now have a random board. Any new generation is going to just give us a new board. Now, this is of course not going to be how we generate the boards. You want the mines first. I see no 8s actually, so I want mod 9. So This is of course not how we're going to be generating the board. If we want random mines, we're not going to place the numbers first and then fit the mines in. We're going to do the other way around. We're going to have the mines and then increment the cells accordingly. This is just to get myself around to remember how you index into arrays. You could also just try to use my head a little, but that seems like a lot of work. So I'm just going to go into board of like 0, 1 and get the mine number. And that's 3, so 0, 1 is this boy. Row 0, column, yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So, row, column. All of this just to remember this. I should have just... Which means this is actually height, this is width, and same here. Height and width. Anything else? So your height, width, yeah, I mean I had it right here and then I just completely disregarded it there. So make 6, which is 0, 1, if I come here and just like 1, 3 or 4, whatever. So it would give me this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Zero, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, exactly. Okay. All of this just to get myself around C arrays. Now, random boards. Like I said, we don't really want to just do this. We want to go through some random cells, 10 random cells, which is the number of mines, and select those to be mines. In other words, I don't want to iterate through the array, I just want to iterate through the number of mines. 0I less than mine number, I plus plus. What the hell just happened? And what am I going to do? I am going to generate 2 random numbers, an x, which is rand mod 9, I guess? No, wait, what am I doing? No, mod my board width, sorry. X is the width, yes. And a y, which is not width, it's height. Could it be -1 +1? I actually don't remember. Maybe. I can just print the board afterwards. So we have our x and our y, and we're basically, I'm going to do a quick check, which is if board on index yx is, did I call it is bomb or is mine? Is mine. No, I call it is bomb. Got that. Mine. If it's a mine, we're going to continue, which means I may as well just not do that. Continue. We're gonna, actually no, we're gonna try again. So this is, yeah, this is very good for a do while actually. So instead of this, while and do this, do while. Except I don't want this. Well, if I'm doing it like that, I might as well just, you know, declaring our x and y, and we're going to randomize them, and we're going to make sure that every x and every y is not already a mine, because otherwise we're just reassigning mines to mine. Okay, we made it out of the loop. It means we have coordinates of a cell that is not a mine. That means we can go to the board on that index, yx, and we're going to set the is mine to true. And that's it. This is just to set the mines, right? What I'm thinking is basically, if it's a mine, we don't really care about this information. You may think that's a bit inefficient. Oh well, it's easy to understand, right? So if it's a mine, we don't really care about the bomb number, regardless of what it is. It could be anything, I don't care, it's a mine. Another thing that I want to do is the board starts, well, not revealed. You have to reveal it yourself. So we are actually going to iterate through this. I removed the loop, but I shouldn't have. We are going to iterate through the board, and we're going to go through each cell, and if it's X and Y, dot is revealed equals false. Yeah, sounds about right. Okay, so let's see if it compiles. No complaints, and exactly, it will not show anything. I did not mess with the numbers. I actually got rid of the randomizing the numbers themselves, so it's not going to do anything. A thing that I'd like to do now to help visualize this a bit better is a print cell method that takes in, I don't know if it'd be better to take the coordinates or the pointer, probably just the coordinates. It's the same thing, I think. I'm actually wondering now. What is the size of a... this is a 0 size of size t. What am I doing? And I actually don't know where you're from. Maybe center GCC temp.c. Why do I have two commas? Hello? Oh, you're the size. Okay, it's 8 bytes. So it's technically more efficient to just pass a pointer to the cell. Does it really matter? No, but I'm gonna do it. So we're gonna take in a cell by pointer, which is gonna be the cell, and what we're gonna basically do is iterate through each of these things and in a specific order, just so that it brings the right thing. Right? Right. Switch the thing. Why? Nah, I think an else if will do well. Okay, so if it's not revealed, what we're going to do is simply print, like I'd said before, a dot, right? Else what? Else if it's a mine, or if it's flagged. Do I care? No, I take priority with the flag, right? Else if cell is flagged, we're going to print, what did I say? It was an exclamation mark, right? So there it is. If it's not revealed, no, if it is revealed, if it's not revealed, it prints that. If it's a flagged, wait, what if it's flagged? Well, that has to do with the logic later. Anyway, so else we're working with a number or a mine. I suppose I can also else if this. Else if it's a mine, printf, and I'm going to represent mines with this. Else, we're just going to printf the, not that. I'm going to printf the cell's mine number, right? Which means that in here, instead of printing this stuff manually, we're going to just call print cell on boards y, x, and we're going to get its headers. There we go. So now we have a dot. Board of dots. Yeah. I wonder, does C allow something like switch true case cell is revealed Well, I would have to... I don't even know if it's allowed. It's not. It's not an integer or a constant. Is it a matter of parentheses? No. Okay, I tried. Can I shorten this? Okay. A bit stupid, but I can do something else. If it is revealed, we're basically checking if it's a mine. Then we just print the mine symbol, which is this. I'll copy this stuff and get rid of that. Right, we print that, else we print this. Else we're going to print, this is a bit stupid but I like it, depending on, oh wait, yeah, it's this. Okay, because strings in C are really just arrays of characters, this is an array with 2 characters, which means that I can index into it and choose cell is revealed. Well, we know it's not, because if it is revealed, it fell into that. Could I just do flagged? Well, I'd have to swap these around. Because if it's not revealed, we want this, else we get that. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. If it doesn't work, this is enough. I can just... Okay. Does it compile? It does. And it prints. Now I have no way of revealing the board as of right now. Guess I'll have to get working on that eventually. Maybe the first thing we can start to do is some way of... Well, I was going to say we could start reading input, but in reality we still have something rather obvious to do, which is increment the cells around mines. And it's something we can do in this loop. So basically what I need to do is choose the directions, and it has to be an array. This will make sense eventually. And we have to go through every direction. So that goes up, down, no, this goes diagonal actually. So this is diagonals, and now I also want orthogonal. So 0, 1, 0, 0, 1. I think that's it. Bit confusing. Okay, so basically if we iterate through all of these and then wiggle the coordinates by these, so this is our x and this is our y, we are going to go through, where's my board? If we're on this cell and we wiggle by the -1, basically what I'm saying is go to the left one cell and go up one cell, so we're now here, right? So if this was a bomb, I can now come into this cell and increment it. I can now go, and then I can go -1, 1, which would go like that, and increment it. You know, for cache locality, this is not the best way to have it, I guess. And again, we are working with a matrix, so... But the idea is that it will go through each of these positions and increment it every time we find a bomb. And as you can see, if there's a bomb, all of the surrounding cells are 1. Now all I have to do is iterate through them. So for what do I have to do? It's the size of the directions, right? So I do I have an I? I do have an I, so let's not use an I again. Equals 0, j less than. I'm just going to hard code it for now, since this is, strictly 2D, and we're going to iterate through this. Now, it's... Oh, I already have a size t, x, and y, don't I? So what I may do... No, I need those. Fuck. Okay. Size t, new x equals x plus dirs of this indexes into the j, and it's gonna get the 0th, and the new y is gonna be y plus that. Yeah. So these are the indices of the cells that I want to go through, that are around the bomb. A thing that I want to do is check if nx is greater than board width, yeah, or ny is greater than board height. It means we are out of, like, on the, somewhere like the bomb was placed on the edge of the board. We don't want to, like, go out of the board. That's invalid memory access. Where was I? If any of that happens, we're just going to continue, I think. Yeah, we're going to continue iterating through the rest of the directions. Otherwise, we are going to check whether that cell is a bomb, because if it is, we don't want to do anything. Dot is mine. We're also going to continue. Else, we're going to actually increment it, the number of bombs. Dot mine number plus equals 1. Right? Alright. So, what are you complaining about? Oh, did I not? Yeah, I didn't declare it as an array. Oh, can I not do it like this? Oh, I need, okay. Is that the correct one? Yeah, I think it is. MineCweeper. Okay, we didn't set faults. That's good. Now, maybe just for the sake of visualizing it, I am going to temporarily just so I can visualize this. So let's see, is this stuff correct? Well then, is this correct? So, looks good. It looks good. Yeah. I don't see any major flaws. I don't see any flaws. Stuff seems to work. How many bombs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. And we didn't seg fault. And, I mean, it's a bit difficult to see all of them, but it looks like it's correct. So that's nice. Also, another thing that this reminded me of is that maybe I would want to represent these, like, empty spaces as, well, empty spaces instead of just numbers. So if the number of cells is not 0, then we do this, else we're going to just printf 2 spaces. Well, I could have kept that around. Yeah, you get the idea. Let me make sure this still works exactly. So under those dots, we have some board, which I cannot interact with. Not a very good game now, is it? What I need now is a way to get player input. And the randomizing of the board, this is not really randomizing, it's more so, maybe I'll just change it. It's not rand board, it's more so init board, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, we got the board initialized, and what I'm going to do temporarily is, in order to have a easier board to debug, I'm going to like have a specific seed, such to, just makes stuff easier. Anyway, input reading in C, fun stuff, totally not dangerous. Anyway, this is meant to be just a game application, so it's not really going to be anything important. I think a do while would do well. And while something, we are going to print the board. What I also want is somewhere to store the input that we just read, so we're probably going to have a buffer with some length. And I suppose I can like define input buffer size, and I'm going to say 256. I don't want more than that. And in buffer size. Okay, so now I'm able to read the buffer into the buffer. Is that a thing? I completely forgot. Yes, it is. So you take in the pointer to which you're reading, the size of bytes. Oh wow, there's a lot of stuff. There's fread. We also have scanf. We also have scanf. Yeah, you also have scanf. I don't know which would be better. Yeah, this is not it. Never mind. So it's probably fread. And what do you take in? You take in the pointer to which I'm reading into, I believe, the size, the number of memory bytes. Each size byte's long, so it's going to read, so it's the size of SHA basically. It's 1 byte, but we may as well. How many are we reading? Input buffer size, and from what stream the standard in. Right? I feel like there's a better function for this. It's F something, I think. Read. Yes, okay. So F get string takes in the string. Assume gets stored in here. F get S reads from the stream and stores into the buffer. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. So F gets. You take in the buffer, the size, which is in buffer size, and the string, which is the standard in, and you return the char pointer. Interesting. Okay. So if this if this is null, we had an error. Actually, let's use pair. Why not? God damn it, I pressed the wrong button again. Okay, so while buffer string compare. I'm going to need to import the string string.h. While string compare, the buffer with quit is not 0. Now I'm pretty sure this does redeem extra characters like the new line. It is stored exactly. If a new line is read, it's stored into the buffer. So what I need to do is basically buffer on index string length of the buffer -1 equals that. Right, so we had this, I can write something, and now it's constantly printing, and once I write quit, it stops the program. Okay. Alright, maybe have this be like a separate function, reads, it's gonna work off of commands basically, and we're gonna take in the sharp double pointer, which is the buffer. Is it a double pointer? Could it be a simple pointer? Maybe it could be a simple, yeah, it could be a simple pointer. I think so at least. And basically, boop, boop, and boop. Into the buffer size, standard in, null, so read commands, and we're gonna pass in the buffer. Nice. Okay. So we can now read stuff. Very nice. Interesting. That's interesting. So the error is after that. Cord up. You'll love to see it. Yeah, special characters. Oh well. What can I do? So now I'm storing the commands, or the input, into the buffer. I can write whatever and it gets stored in there, and once it's done, I think it gets overwritten. I hope. Let me actually look at fcats works again. At most one less and stores them. Okay, I think it overwrites. If it doesn't, I guess it'll eventually overflow. How do I want to work with the board? I can't, or I don't really want to bother trying to like have it be mouse oriented, so I'm just going to work with coordinates. And I think it's fairly simple in that we have the quit command, it's already implemented. We have, and we need a way to mark or to flag and to reveal a cell. So what we can do is basically have R for reveal, and then coordinates, and then flag coordinates. Yeah, it's easy to parse, it's easy to read, and I don't think we need more than this. I suppose I can have like a help command to print how these work, right? But that seems like a simple thing to do. So I'm gonna start with the flag command because the reveal command has more implications. So how do I want to deal with this? Because having string comparison, whatever, especially in here is a bit annoying. So I may just do it at first, maybe? I can just do an else if, you know? If string compare buffer with, well, now that's the thing. I can't really compare it with stuff because we have coordinates that are variable. Well, there is something else which is fscanf, I think. Or is it string scanf? It's scanf. And what it does is it reads from a given string. Sorry, the string scanf reads from a given string for a specific format into variables. What that means is that I can basically just like declare x and y, and then use scanf from the buffer with the format. I guess I also want like a char action, right? Is the action we're going to be performing, revealing or flagging. We're going to have the character, a number, another number, and you're going to be ZU actually, just for the sake of, God damn it, for the sake of consistency, since they're size t. And here we pass in the address of C, of action, sorry, the address of, is it X, Y, or YX? What's the best? I think it's easier to go like left to right first and then top down second. So if X goes first, okay, X and then Y. Okay. Now, well, I suppose if this is not 3, it means that we're probably quitting since there are no other commands, or it's just some garbage. If it is 3, scanf in the scanf family, from what I remember, I can even pull this up, it returns, it's right up here, it returns the number of arguments it was able to read. It's a lot of text, just trust me. It returns the number of arguments that it was able to read. So if it was able to read like the first character and then a number but not the rest, it will return 2. If it is 3, we can basically say if action equals F, we do something, else if action equals R, we do something else. Now I have to define these somethings. So I'm just going to not implemented. And as for the flagging action, we basically just check if the coordinates are valid, and if they are, we flag the cell. If, because they're size t, they can't underflow, well, if it's a negative number, if the user inputs a negative number, what will happen is that it'll underflow, which means it wraps around, whatever. So I only have to check the upper bound. It's the same thing that I did above, I don't even remember where. And here, I did it here and then we'll explain it. Because size t is unsigned, it means that it can't be a negative number. So if it were somehow a negative number, like in this case it could be at the edge of the grid, and it would be a negative number. If that's the case, it underflows. I think that's the correct terminology. It underflows and it wraps around, it gets a huge number, the board will never be that many cells, so I only have to check the upper bounds. Same thing here. If x is greater than board width, or y is greater than board height, I guess I can just say no, invalid coordinates. And then continue. Okay, so let's say they are not invalid coordinates. If the cell is already flagged, we are going to toggle it, basically. So there's no problem there. Yx dot is flagged equals this reversed, right? All we want to do is toggle the thing. Another thing that I can do is I would like to be able to say that it is an unknown command, but in the current way I would have to check if it's the quit command beforehand to say it's not, to then say it's an invalid command. That would mean checking quit twice, so what I'm thinking is maybe if this, then we're just going to break out of it. Right, we're going to break out of the main loop, which means we are just going to exit the command, and I'm going to change this to like an infinite for. That's the same as a while true. Because I already checked whether it's a quit, it means that if it doesn't work here, we've run through all of the possible commands, I can just say, hey, we don't know what that is. Invalid command, %s, I'm gonna maybe do that, and we're just passing the buffer. Okay, no complaints. Interesting. So if I want to flag cell 00, there we go. It's flagged. If I want to unflag it, I just do it again. 0, 1, flag 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, flag 0, 0, flag 1, 0. So yeah, it's working. And that still works. Nice. Actually, okay, good stuff. This will sec. I don't think it's a sec fault. I don't know how a search works, but it's gonna fail. It's an assertion. All right, so we've got flagging. We've got flagging. That's it. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is giving the player the ability to reveal a cell, since that's the important part of the game. And that actually has. I didn't check. Before that, let me check something. Okay. That should not happen. So why does 99 work? Why does 99 work? Well, it's greater or equal, not just strictly greater. Or am I? No, you're meant to zero index. Right, so it's greater or equal. Glad I got that. Because we zero index this stuff. Which means this is probably also, where is it? Up here. Yeah, this is also wrong. Well, in this case, I guess it's not too big of a deal. Despite accessing invalid memory, it's not breaking, which is interesting. Okay, now it's out of it. Yeah, I didn't think that through. I suppose you can cast it. Invalid coordinates. And then this will complain. I mean, it's gonna look a bit ugly, but oh well. Okay. So for all intents and purposes, they are unsigned, but for printing, it's better if it's like that. Okay. Now we can work on the reveal method function. If we reveal, we can do this check again. Matter of fact, I may as well just do this check regardless. It seems like I'll always need to do it. Yeah. So, this is working. Now, let's say we want to reveal a cell. First things first, if you've played Minesweeper, you know that if you reveal a cell and there are neighboring cells that are also empty, that also have no bombs around it, those also get revealed automatically. What I'm thinking is recursion, because it's going to be a similar quote-unquote trick as we did with the incrementing of the cells, we're just going to iterate through each direction, and if the cell number is, the bottom number of that cell is 0, we also reveal it. Simple enough. This is already getting confusing. I will refactor this when I can. I'm going to stick this into a separate method, which is going to be like reveal cells, maybe, and I actually want the indices here, right? Because I need to know the neighbors. So reveal cell. I already checked that it's within bounds, so that should be fine. If it's already revealed, I'm going to do it in here, because I'm going to call that method recursively, and if I'm going to call that function recursively, I don't really want to be checking whether the cell is already revealed there, because then I may just get the error recursively when I only want it once. If board on index yx dot is revealed, I mean, I'm not going to allow you to unreveal a cell. I'm just going to say, hey, this is already revealed. What are you doing? Okay. Okay. So we reveal the cell the other way around. Let's not make that mistake. Board yx dot is revealed equals true. And now I want to basically do the same thing. And I'm going to get this stuff and that and paste it in here. Right? That's the wrong function. Here's where I want it. Alright, that's it. If it's a mine, we continue. Else, reveal cell with the new x and a new y. Another thing that I want to do is check if it's already revealed. Because if it is already revealed, you don't want to reveal that because it will call it recursively, infinitely, right? Well, I don't care about this. I want to reveal. As of right now, I don't have any win conditions or lose conditions, so I'm just going to let you reveal a mine without consequences. And that should be it. Complaints. Semicolon, of course. Okay, that did not work as intended. What am I doing here? Huh. Very interesting. By the way, okay, I don't want to allow that. What happened here exactly? So we revealed the 0th cell, and it should have only really revealed this area, but it revealed everything. Oh yeah, I'm wrong. Okay, if what's the condition here? So if its cell is 0. Oh, I only want to reveal neighbors. If the current cell's number or bomb number is 0, right? Is that how it works? Because if I reveal a cell that has a number, I'd want to reveal the surrounding cells, right? Right. So if board of n of y x dot mine number, is that how I called it? Yes. If that is equal to 0, then I want to do this stuff. Right. Okay. So I'm still allowing the thing to flag there, which I don't want. Action equals F if the board on that index y x dot is mine, print F, it's not is mine, is revealed. Is revealed. Oh, it's also a common thing for both. Okay. Actually, I just remembered something. That's that. So we don't want to reveal a cell if it's flagged. So I do want to check that here. If board on that index yx dot is flagged, we're just going to say you probably don't want to do that. We're not going to let you do that. Cell is flagged. No warnings. Okay. So you can play it. So I can reveal what is that. 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. Nice. I can flag 0, 2, I think. No, it's 2, 0. I may switch those around. I don't like that. Wait. 2, 0, 0, 2. Okay, I'm switching those around. Ugh. Where is it? Y. X. I think that's enough. Reveal then it was 2, 2, and then I can flag 0, 2. And here we are. So I can reveal 0, 3. There we are. Okay. So you could keep going. You can flag 0, 1, 2, 3, 0. Is it this? Yes. Okay. It's working. We should probably pretty it up. First things first, I like a border around the board because that is rather hard to look at, and it's probably something simple like this, right? Then here I can just do stuff like that. I probably want some spacing in here, but you get the idea. Okay, so print board, where is it? There you are. So if we are on, what? You can probably just print F. Oh yeah, so I don't want to hard code it. I want to. Okay, interesting. Right, I forgot about the spacing. Because we have spaces between each cell, we actually need 2 hyphens. Okie dokie. Yeah, it should be fine when I eventually add the columns here. Right, we're gonna have one here, then a space, and it should fill this in. Should be in the keyword. So that's that. I want this again at the bottom. right? And now if y equals 0 or y equals the board, is it y? It's not y, it's x. If x equals 0 or x equals board width, print f this. Actually, that does change a little, actually. Because in this situation, we actually want a new line. Okay. What am I missing? Oh, board width -1. 0 indexing. Why am I doing this? Oh, I only want to print it after the cell, for fuck's sake. Okay. There's a space here which should not be here, because you already print a new line here. Wait, could I just... Instead of doing that, could I just... Nope. Yes, I could. I'm off by 1. Why? Or am I... No, that's a single space. I don't know. I mean, this is a spacing that I want. I guess more hyphens? Less than board width. Could it be less or equal? Do you think that will... no. So that overshoots it. Interesting. What if instead... Right, because here it's off by 1, here it's over by 1. We are printing 2 at a time, which means unless I do something like that, it's going to be a problem. What I can do is print 1 at a time, and since each cell does take 2 spaces, I can multiply this by 2 and add the 1 that is missing. Seems like that could work, because, you know, each cell is the cell itself and then the space after. So I should take that into account. And then the fact that here I do put an extra space, just so it's not immediately next to the border. And yeah, there we go. It works. Works way better. Now, as it is right now, the game quote-unquote works. You can't really win or lose if you do reveal a bomb. There's nothing happens. What was it? It was 4-0? No, it was 3-0. Like, that's a bomb. And nothing happens. You can still play the rest of the game. But the raw concept is working. So something that I'd like to work on eventually is refreshing the screen so that you don't have the boards up here, right? The previous boards, this looks awful, and have like coordinates on the outside of the grid to help you know with indexing here. And then eventually new sizes for the board. But I think for now I'm happy with this. And I can come here and generate a random game. So now should be different. Yeah. What is that? 0, 1, 2, 2? 0, 1, 2, 0, 1. Yeah, it was 0. I meant this one. But yeah, it was 2, 1. Whatever. You know, that's why coordinates on the outside of the grid would be useful, but you get the idea. And you can also see it is a different board. So yeah, for now, I'm happy with this. I'm going to just... What do I have in here? Let's see, MineSweeper. Yep. All right. Working concept for MineSweeper. No win or lose conditions yet. All right. Alrighty. So that's it for now. I do have plans on making things way better. Like I already said, coordinates, all of that jazz. But I'll do that whenever I feel like doing that, which is, I don't know, sometime. Bye.